Here we go.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play what? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your Majesty.
And now here's your host, John Taylor.
Hello, everybody. This is your host, John Taman. And as you can see, we got a full boat today. I got my friend Jesse over there who just finished using the bathroom. Jesse, could you tell us how that was? Was that worthwhile, considering that you've now lost, 30 pounds?
Close to it. Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah. Hey,
Right,
like
so
I said earlier, when you get my age, it's if you got to go, man, go.
This all is due to your Raisin Bran and Acorn diet, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Twigs and berries, baby. Twigs and berries.
Twigs and
That's a
berries.
weird
Like we
diet.
said last week, we got a whole other entendre for that. And I'm sure Scotty knows that because I think that came out of your country. It was the twigs and berries. I don't know. Maybe it did or not. There's our good friend Scott Huntley. I am going to make you a new intro. I got a great idea. Oh, so how you doing anyway, man? That was your cue.
You're on mute.
He's mute. Look at this
Jesus,
non-professional.
what a way!
motherfucker.
I know. What a way to
Absolutely
start the show.
You know, when you read lips,
Christ.
you can catch that English accent when you're reading his lips, can't you?
I know, yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm good. I've been in work today, so yeah, a bit of
On
overtime.
a Saturday? Come on.
Yeah, a bit of
Y'all
overtime.
blokes work on Saturdays out.
No. Listen, no. Don't. They can work a Saturday. These blokes get a damn vacation once a month.
Oh, that's true.
Nah,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on, 30
yeah.
days a year. Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
Only 30 days a year.
plus bank holidays on top.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, a holiday. Yeah, they get a
30 days a
holiday
year.
once a month.
Crazy.
I don't feel sorry for the Brits.
Where do you go? I tell you what, most every goddamn British beach I've ever seen is made of rocks. The water is probably about 42 degrees. It's about as gray as can
That's
be.
like at the
It looks like the
warmest-
side of
warmest.
a battleship. Jesus Christ. Where are
Yeah, and
gonna
then
go?
you and then you buy fish and chips and they get eaten by a seagull. Yeah, it's great. It's great. But I tell you what, the seagulls up here have been bench pressing dogs. I'm sure.
Well, the
They're
seagulls down
massive.
where our next guest is. Oh, I shouldn't say you're a guest. You actually, this is your show. This is your, well, no, you missed last time. So this is not your second show in a row.
Cornelius Hench.
Congratulations. Going right back to one. We should have a little sign that says number of days this podcast has had Keith on it and reset it every time.
Listen. The only reason why I'm on today was because I heard the numbers were down, so somebody had to come and save this shitty ass podcast.
I'm telling you. I mean, I was starting to look at the French because this English guy ain't cutting it.
How very dare you in a Greta Thunberg tone as well. Ruined my life.
Tell you what, if I was standing close to Scotty, I do believe I would have been smacked across the face with a tiny pair of white gloves.
Yeah, well, your hands are tiny. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Take my strong hand, child.
Yeah. You get the Frenchman in here. Oh, the commanders, they shook. Dan Snyder, fuck him. Anyway, so yeah, Dan Snyder, fuck him. We might as well start off right here with that. More mystery surrounding what the fuck ever Dan Snyder's doing. He seems to be leaking shit all over the place about who's selling what to where and how much he's getting. I just saw a report that said I saw that there was 4 bids that are slightly under $5 billion, right?
No, four bids that are in the $5 billion range. There supposedly was a sneaky handshake backroom deal to let Bezos back into the bid. I saw that. There's two bidders that have dropped off. I think because I think more serious bids are going to come in, and that may be, if this is true, that could be the Bezos effect. They didn't want to get in a big bidding war. Listen, this thing's probably going to go on for another few months now before anything real happens. So,
well, so this is my question for that then, because once everything is done, the owners still have to vote on it. So, are they going to vote by proxy, or are they going to wait for another owners meeting? Is there an owners meeting in May?
Yeah, I mean, there's one the end of March, but I think I don't think they have to be in the same room to vote. I'm sure they're going to approve anybody who Dan Snyder says, hey, this guy wants to buy the team. So
Hey,
I don't
just
think
do
there's
an
going to be any pushback as long as
They
it's
could
not
just do an
Dan Snyder.
EGM, couldn't they, Jesse? Do you know what I mean? And just call the meeting. I mean, they can all hop on their jets. And,
Hey, man, they can Zoom, man.
exactly.
Hey guys,
Hey guys, on my ship.
guys,
Yes,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we have a special guest on the show, Jerry Jones.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he can give us some inside information.
Yeah,
I'm
hey
not
Jerry,
here.
how's it going? Thank you for joining the show.
It's going quite all right. This was something I didn't plan. I was accidentally just sitting on my phone and y'all come up. So, well, listen, I just got to say this. If there's an owners meeting in May or June, I'm going to vote to keep Dan in at least until then because he'll bring his wife and she'll wear a goddamn bikini. And I'm going to tell you something right there. That is a string that I'd like to push between my teeth. Jerry out.
Jerry. Well, Jerry never fails. I think he might have the hots for old Tanya Snyder. I don't know.
Well, hell, I have the hots for Tanya Snyder. God.
You know,
That
tell me
woman
this, I got
She's
the hot
beautiful. I don't care what anyone. Jerry, step off my woman.
Sorry, that's not my problem. Listen, when you tell Jerry to step off, you're telling me to back up, which is kind of dangerous because my diaper makes me kind of fall over backwards a little bit. However, I do have the money to afford my own private army. So watch what you're saying there, son. We'll stop around New Jersey, start firing a few shells towards your house there. Now, the way I see it, I'm hot for just about anything. As long as it's got a vagina, I don't really care how many amputations it's had. I tell you something. Mescaline is your friend, my friend. It'll help everything look just the way you want it to be.
Jesse, get rid of this guy.
Yeah, Jerry, we'll see you next time there, buddy. But you know, it's kind of it's frustrating in a way. You know why this is taking as long as it's. I mean, we knew this shit wasn't going to happen overnight. I mean, we're all thankful that it's looking like this team's going to sell. But too bad.
Yeah, we think.
It's going to sell, man. I don't have any doubts about that. I mean, I think it's 99.999% chance this team is going to sell. But the fact of the matter is, for our team's sake, for this upcoming 2023 season's sake, it sucks that it's not done a little bit sooner. So there's a little bit more of a piggy bank that our team can go to as far as signing big free agents. That kind of sucks, and that's why one of the main reasons why we will never be in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. It's never going to happen, other than the fact that Baltimore's not going to get rid of him. Why do you think all the other teams are not fucking going after Lamar? Because they know Baltimore's going to keep him.
That's a whole other kettle of Baltimore's letting everybody else negotiate for him. Really.
Yeah, but then nobody's negotiating. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, they're letting Lamar find out the bad news on his own. But all these people that are hollering about collusion, look, it's really not collusion. If the four of us are sitting here talking, right? It's common sense. And I say to you, hey man, let's go get a cheeseburger. It costs $350. All three of you are going to go, you're out of your fucking mind. And I'll go, right. And we're not buying that stupid $350 cheeseburger, right? Right. But that's not colluding. That's just common sense.
It's common sense, man. And listen, we would all like to have a Lamar Jackson on our team. Let's not.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about Dan Snyder?
Yeah, well, we're all over the place.
Okay. Well, it kind of goes all together, really, with the Dan Snyder thing, because we're not going to get any big name free agents because Dan Snyder does not have money to write that check to put it in escrow. That's that, and this includes Lamar in the fact that he's going to want a $250 million guaranteed contract. Dan Snyder doesn't have $250 million to his name. He just doesn't have it.
I'll play devil's advocate there, Jesse, and I'll play devil's advocate there and say to you, wouldn't it be the biggest FU to the league, to the owners, to everybody else to say, hey, I brought in Lamar Jackson to Washington and he can go away and sail off on his yacht saying, well, at least I brought you a franchise quarterback.
Sure.
Kind of bring it as
and
a
I
legacy.
bet he'd probably think about doing it if he had $250 million.
But the other thing as well is,
because I don't think he cares about the team anymore. When you read all about it, I don't think he gives a shit.
Go ahead.
The other thing is as well is if he wants $6 billion, which is what averagely they're saying that he wants.
Sure.
If you have a franchise quarterback, does that then not push the price up even more?
No,
put it out there.
Not really.
You're still faced with the same expenses that you're going to have to drop as soon as you buy the team. You need a stadium. You have a major league branding problem with a major league fan base problem. All right, you got to
look. $50 million a year for a player is nothing. Is a drop in a hat to these billionaire owners. You know, it's the fact of the matter, and these are facts. I mean, John Keim is the number one person I listen to. That's where I get all my information from. He has stated it 900 times. Dan Snyder does not have any money. He doesn't have the money.
He got a small hat.
So it's just that's just the crux of the whole situation.
There's wasn't it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he bought the most expensive property in the area for a cash. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? So
and now he's $1 billion in debt, over $1 billion in debt.
True.
Keith, you haven't spoke on this yet. What do you think, man?
I'm about to give you my expert analysis here.
Let's hear that expert analysis.
I don't really give a shit. Look, honestly, it was exciting news because we finally got a glimpse of hope. Hopefully that this team could somehow get out of this ridiculous black cloud that has been in for so many years since Snyder's, takeover. Just reading all the different things. This person's in, this person's out, this person's back in, this person's out. Bezos getting blocked, Bezos this, Bezos that. Like, at this point, I'm just careful with what I believe in anything that's written, because there's only a handful of people that truly know what's going on with this sale. And this is a perfect opportunity for our media members to bounce around this story as much as they can and get as much as they can out of it.
100%.
Because this doesn't happen every day.
Sure.
I agree. I mean, I think we can all agree, Dan Snyder, just get the hell out of here. I'm not expecting big free agency moves, this year. Why would an owner do that if he knows he's out the door?
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day that, this sale needs to happen, but people should also temper their expectations with that. Right. And what I mean by that is if a gentleman like Bezos comes in, billionaires don't become billionaires because they're just nice people.
No, they're usually psychopaths and sociopaths.
Correct. Billionaires come in because they've stepped all over people their entire careers. Okay.
Right.
They're scumbags. They don't pay their, when you have someone like Bezos who has already been accused of not being a good owner of Amazon, not taking care of his employees, and things like that. And we don't, I don't need to dive deep because I don't have the facts behind all of that, only seeing what, I've heard that was reported, but it's not like this team is going to turn around instantly because we have a new owner, and we have to be careful of, this new owner as well. But I think all we care about is get this guy out, get another person in that can shell out some cash flow so we actually can bring in some free agents that is going to make a difference to this team.
Just to jump off what you just said, just real quick, Keith, we've been stepped on by Dan Snyder for 20 some odd years. We're ready to get stepped on by somebody else. It's time.
Right.
It's just
and at least
time.
Somebody with bigger shoes. Honestly.
Well, do like what Dan Snyder did at first.
Snyder.
No. Hold on. I'm not saying
first, right off the bat.
I'm not saying blueprint him, asshole. Shut up. What I'm saying is
blueprint his asshole. Thank goodness.
Okay. What I'm saying is that Dan Snyder did at one point in his tenure give us a little hope when we had a shit ton of free agents, come in. I mean, the guy did want to win.
Let's right about that.
The guy wanted to win, and he was doing what it took.
He thought he took, but he didn't let football people make the decisions.
Correct. We were bringing in the wrong. We were bringing, like, come on, man, Deion Sanders, bro. Like, you lost me there.
I'll
like, I'm done.
I'll tell you something about Deion Sanders when he was here. Everybody
don't tell me nothing about Deion Sanders.
Here's what was good. But Deion Sanders and Champ Bailey as a duo gave up 4 touchdowns that entire season to wide receivers. 4.
Cool. I still close my eyes why they did it, because Deion Sanders was a cowboy.
Went from like 28th to number 4 in 1 year because of those pickups. But the thing that Dan Snyder did was he decided it's got to be my team. So he got rid of, the fact that he put Jeff George in that fucking locker room.
That's the issue.
He had Brad Johnson, they had finally reached the cusp, and he started monkeying around with Brad Johnson, which was honestly the best quarterback we'd had here since we won a Super Bowl. And he was on his way. He eventually did win a Super Bowl. He was a good quarterback, and he makes great Twitter videos too, by the way. But that's where he went wrong. Bringing in Deion. I mean, Deion fleeced him, and Deion made a joke about it. But Deion played pretty good for us, man, on defense.
Yeah, he did. But
I'm just for 1 year, and then but see, that was the thing that Snyder right there. He earned that reputation, and then we became the vacation home for him.
And it's just the fact of the matter is he just thought he knew more about football than actual football people, and he hired the wrong people to help him make decisions. I mean, fucking Vinny Serrato for God's
because
sakes,
if you say no to him, he fires you.
Yeah,
that's not right. You're out.
At first, he was like a kid in a candy store. I want this guy. I want this player. I want this player. And it just, as fans, we were like, oh, fuck, we're getting Deion Sanders. Oh, fuck, we're going to get Albert Hansen. Oh, fuck, we're going to get this guy. But they never fucking worked out. Right.
London Fletcher really was the only one that.
Yeah, I mean, and he wasn't really a huge high-profile signing at the time. I mean, everybody knew who London Fletcher was, but I mean, he was a superstar to us because he was that anvil on the defense, man. He was just everywhere, but he wasn't one of them high-dollar, big-name free agents coming out.
Send the jet
going to get him.
A1. Right, that was the thing. We used to sit around and wait for where's the jet going? Where's the jet going? Fucking extremeskins.com used to have a tracker on the jet.
We're still tracking that jet. We just
there's a guy out there that tracks his yacht too.
They probably got a fucking GPS under his car.
Wild.
Fine by me.
I was going to say then,
selling time, put something else under his car.
What moves this team on? Because for me, I've never seen a team, the team do well in any season I've supported them. Maybe it's my fault. I don't know, but for the last 20 years, it's been, it's been shocking. Cheers, mate. It's been awful, but it's what do we do to get off being mid? You have the opportunity now, and this is the problem we have is how many MVP caliber quarterbacks come on the market for 2 first-round picks. I am absolutely sick and tired.
But that's the thing. It's not just 2 first-round picks, Scotty.
I know it's the money.
If that was it, then that'd be fine. Look, but it's not. Unfortunately,
he wants about $50 million a year over.
He wants $250 million guaranteed, and that guaranteed has to go into an escrow account.
But you have teams that are paying. Like look at Daniel Jones's contract. He's going to get $45 million this next season. So you're telling me
I'm not saying he's not
Daniel
worth it.
Jones.
Not saying he's not worth it. I'm not saying he's not worth it, but the fact of the matter is there's no money to pay him.
Right.
The issue you have here is the NFL owners do not want to see another contract like the Deshaun Watson contract.
And I agree.
That was the problem.
To be honest with
that
you.
was the problem.
Watson's just escalated the value, but it was Kirk Cousins' fault. Kirk Cousins' fucking fault because he got that, and it's the Vikings' fault. They gave Kirk Cousins a fully guaranteed contract, and right then and there, it was all fucked up from there. And now
that was $100 million, and that was when it was $100 million for Kirk.
Yeah,
now it's $250 million.
Fully guaranteed. That was the thing. It was fully guaranteed. And y'all know what Bobby Bonilla Day is, right? The Mets been paying that motherfucker for 20 goddamn years, 25 years.
Sure.
The NFL can't get into that. And the fact of the matter is NFL contracts don't work like they work out here for us regular people. For Christ's sakes, man. They sign a contract with absolutely no intention of seeing it through to the end on both sides, right? They'll cut your ass before you could get to costing too much, which brings up the next topic we're going to get to after this, which is making some space on the freaking salary cap. I was playing this, Keith, because I swear I was talking about our little English fella here and talking about it was threatening with the French. I was telling him, look, you better be more entertaining because the French are just across the fucking pond from you. They're just across the channel.
And don't talk about the French after the rugby, John.
The only problem with the French, though, is they waved that white flag very early. I don't know if they could handle our season.
Yeah, their tanks only have reverse gear, Keith.
Hey, I was going to say, any French that roots for the Commanders, they're out by week 3.
I look at you with your beanie cap and your little round glasses and your beard and your mustache, and my goodness, you stop to look a bit froggy to me.
Don't start. We will have problems, John. We will have problems.
No, I'm saying we may already have our Frenchman. We just call him Keith instead of Keith. We call him Keith. What's French for gay? For gray? Smoosh. Keith Smoosh.
I'll just be Francois.
No, Francois. There you go. Whatever you want to be. All right. So, okay. Salary cap. Free agency. It's coming up. All right. We already know that Lamar Jackson is off the table. Although, if it was possible, the one thing about him that drove me crazy this week is all the people that are like, oh my God, how are we ever going to afford anybody else ever again? Oh my God. Listen, you can't scream for fucking 20 years that we need a quarterback. And then when you got a chance to get one, a real one, you can't go, oh my God, what am I going to do? You fucking do everything you can to get that guy. And you look at how these other teams do it. They take that. That's the key part, right? They get the fucking quarterback. They hold that motherfucker forever, and they keep rotating young players around them until they get that core of 8 to 10 people that's going to catch 70% of the salary.
And a lot of those teams got that quarterback in the draft, so they were able to start rotating these people in, and that's where comes the issue when you're going out and getting a free agent, sign a high dollar free agent. That is that's where it hurts, man. That's where in the back end where you get yourself into trouble.
Right. Now, see, the thing is everybody seems to think that that's easy, right? That you can go out and you can just get a quarterback in the draft, or that's the way to do it, which is true, is the way to do it. But man, how rare is it, even for the teams that get an elite quarterback? You look at their history of their entire team. How many do they have? I was thinking about this the other day. The last time we drafted an elite quarterback, Keith, when was it?
Never.
2012.
You could say RG3 possibly.
2012.
I'm sorry, that's 1 year. I can't really call that elite though.
He was a pop in the freaking pan of life.
Well, he was he was determined to be one.
The last time we drafted an elite quarterback was fucking Sammy Baugh. That's 1933. That's 90 fucking years ago.
Of course, you would know that.
You should know that too, for God's sake.
But I mean,
why should I know that?
Same can be said.
Why? Because it's my favorite football team that I have to go all the way back to the 1800s.
No. I mean,
to have facts.
He's the
I
guy
don't need to know. I don't care about Sammy Baugh.
I think we're talking about modern era football, and if you think about other teams,
that's how long it's been since we've drafted a franchise quarterback.
Well, the same can be said about
any team,
all kinds of teams.
Rugby. I'm supposed to know that knowledge. Get out of here.
But it's about drafting and development.
History book. Sammy Baugh.
The arguments I'm seeing, from people, some people would rather, keep Sam Howell, a 5th round pick, instead of Lamar Jackson. And listen, look, the arguments can go both ways, okay? But in all reality, and this goes for all 32 teams, it is better to find your guy in the draft than it is to go out in free agency and get one.
The lesson that Lamar Jackson is teaching is that if you're going to go find your quarterback in the draft, great, but you are paying. All right, there's no doubt about it. You're going to pay. Eventually, you are going to pay. But anybody talks about how much whatever the money is this year is going to be not so much again next year.
Eventually, like you said too, you got those 4 or 5 years. If you say you drafted one in the first round,
right?
You got 5 years to be able to build that team around you, and then be able to start swapping, rotating players out. But you have, just like what the Chiefs did, man. I mean, the Chiefs just paid Pat Mahomes 2 years ago that 10-year fucking contract. Yeah, it's not really
500 million, wasn't it?
Yes, but the fact of the matter is, beforehand he was on a rookie deal. Okay, they got to be able to put pieces around him. So eventually, when that time was to pay that to do that contract, they were able to do that with pieces already set up around them.
A team that's a perfect example of that is the Eagles.
Yes,
I mean, back when they won the Super Bowl this year or this past season, like the blueprint's there, and that's why it's almost like I want to follow that blueprint.
They've managed.
But they're gonna have to pay 50 million.
Yeah,
eventually,
but they took
eventually they will.
Eventually they will, and that's fine. Their team players will have to walk at some point because they can't pay everyone. But while they're within that rookie contract, though, okay,
that's when you build.
They're making moves. They're making moves. They're strengthening that team, and that team is being successful. It's not a bad way to go, guys.
2 things though. The Eagles did something. Remind me what it was, but somehow they ended up with something like 3 first-round picks. They made some kind of a deal, and so that gives them leeway to do a lot of things. All right,
sure.
Because then they started trading them. They moved around with the Dolphins a couple of times.
On all that yet.
Right. Well, yeah, they've started to capitalize on it, and now they got a lot of free agents that they're going to let go. But the fact of the matter is,
they have to let them go. They have to let go Slay. Slay's
card
and somebody else. I forget. They just Brandon Graham.
Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson's got to go as well.
They have on the
Bradbury's probably going to go.
Yeah, Bradbury's gone.
It's a revolving door, man. You got
for the Commanders. The question I would say is, when you say about the drafting guy, wouldn't you look at our offense and say, other than quarterback, it's built. I mean, the offensive line needs work.
I mean, there's some spots that this group. It's not just a drop a quarterback in and you're ready to go. I don't believe it's
Lamar
there
Jackson
yet,
style high dollar free agent quarterback, just on the supposition.
I mean, you need like we've been saying, you need multiple spots on that offensive line. You need another good linebacker. You need another good cornerback. Yes, our running backs are good, are set. Our wide receivers are set, and our defensive line are set. And our safeties are set, but there's other places that you got to figure out how to fill out. And with a little more than $16 million in the salary cap left, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to fill all those positions.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I was just saying, when you're talking about how it's better to go through the draft and because you can build around him, I would say at our juncture right now, building around him, the offensive is set except for those positions right there, the offensive line, which you can do inexpensively and heavy in this draft.
Well, last time they went inexpensive, you saw what happened last year.
Well, I don't mean inexpensive like stupid, like, oh yeah, these guys, I know them from back when. Guards ain't going to break the bank. Now, speaking of such, we're going to get to Keith's favorite subject, math. I'm looking at this, and I'm really just not seeing where they can do a whole lot of fat cutting to clear a lot of space. They've got $15 million. They can cut Roulier after June 1st, and it looks like that they can save. Let's see. It'll be a $4 million dead cap hit if you do that. You'll save $8 if you cut Roulier. You can do a little bit of work with both. But everything is after June 1st. Andrew Norwell, if you cut him now, we would have a $2 million dead cap hit. But he's a $5 million cap hit right now. If we cut him after June 1st, it's only a $700,000 dead cap hit. Is it that much? I guess everything we're going to do is not now. So we can't really even afford to play.
No, the thing you've got to work out here is if you look at that whole cap hit structure, I would be talking to John Allen now and saying, hey, John, is there any way that you would, restructure your deal, add a dead year in? One thing we've been absolutely terrible at is restructuring the cap, being able to do that. And again, this boils back down to Dan Snyder, unfortunately, because
you do a whole bunch of restructuring, and all you're doing is pushing that money off.
Right,
you're just pushing that off for next year. That's why you have the
count down the road. But look at things like Tyreek Hill's just restructured this week for the Dolphins. They've created $30 million in cap space by
it was more than just Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, it was
I know,
but still,
the fact of the matter is how
they
close
pushed it.
They? How
they
close
pushed. They pushed that to bonus money, and that's what you have to do.
And that's what I'm saying.
To get big,
well,
hold on. To get big contracts, your big players' contracts negotiated, they have to push them to bonus money, and that bonus money has to be paid out immediately. And what did I say earlier? Dan Snyder doesn't have the money, and he's not going to write the checks for bonus money. Now, you mentioned something about restructuring John Allen. I wouldn't do that. And if I was John Allen, I'd have been like, hell no, I'm not going to do that. Why would he do that? He just signed that contract. I think he's still got 2-3 more years left on that deal.
21 million against the cap this year. It's the highest cap hit. You at least have a conversation. And if it's a no, it's a no. But you do it in the right way. And that's the problem we have here is we've given out. For me, it's about the coaching staff and about the GM. I think the GM is a fucking horrible idiot because the contracts that we're giving out are terrible. Look at the contracts we've given out. We got William Jackson III, massive contract, big free agent, the highest corner on there, who is not a zone corner. And he's not even with us anymore.
He just got released from the team that he was on.
I know, and it cost us more for them to release him than it cost
Curtis Samuel, 30 million over 3 years. He's a 10 million hit this year. Is Curtis Samuel replaceable? Possibly.
No, he's not.
I don't know how much did they actually use him. Did they use him enough to warrant that? I don't.
I think so.
He's a threat. Dude, I'll tell you what. You go get Braxton Berrios. You might. How far down the step do you go?
It's tough.
I disagree so much with that. You could probably restructure him. But the fact of the matter, let's go about this misnomer. Everybody's you got a man corner to come play zone. Listen, that is such a misconception going around in the NFL. Every single team, he just started to suck, and it started to suck. Unfortunately, at the fucking year that we drafted him. I mean, the year that we picked him up. There's no man defenses. There's no team that plays just man.
But Jesse, for years we've given big contracts out to terrible players. You know,
but he wasn't a terrible player though.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was.
He was actually the best cornerback on the market.
He was
that year.
in the market.
He desperately needed a cornerback.
Absolutely.
I think Jesse hit it on the head. He just started to suck. What do you think? You think that's possible? They just start to suck.
Sometimes that shit happens, man. That
happens. Today. My man is here.
It is tough though to get Cap. I think we can get to 30 million.
But I don't like Samuel. I definitely don't want to lose him whatsoever. I think, especially in Eric Bieniemy's offense, I think he's going to play a humongous role. Maybe try to restructure him a little bit. And the thing about Samuel is people are talking about Samuel is because he missed a year.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. This year, last year, he played the full season, but he needs more than 5 touches a game.
Yeah, and he also needs a quarterback that can get him the fucking ball.
True.
Okay, all right. We always come back around to that
because it
always revolves around that. You're right.
Quarterback position.
You're right.
That's why so many arguments.
But apparently, Jesse, Lamar Jackson is going to solve all those issues,
and I don't think he will.
No.
Well, see, the thing about it is that the quarterback is the boat or is the rising tide that floats all the other boats up. All right. It
does. That's true.
It does. Okay. One of the things that
it can also be the bomb that blows everything up too.
That's true too.
Well, for you pessimists, I guess it would be. Jesus Christ.
Don't label me, but it's true.
He's like, well, yeah, but the rising tide is actually a tidal wave. It's going to destroy the fucking village. All the boats are coming through your house. So there you go.
That's true. That's true. Don't come at us with these dumbass analogies.
I gotta go back to analogy school. But the quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, right? We talked about this when I was bitching about Eric Bieniemy before we signed him. He does all these wild ass flippy-flu, fucking run around this way, head cut off that way, fucking every which way. And I'm wondering, why is he always on the run? What the fuck is he doing? He always on the goddamn run. Does he hold it so long that he waits for the protection to break down? Or does the protection break down too quick and he makes these offensive linemen look great by not getting any credit against them?
Could be a little bit of both.
Right. So in that regard, a quarterback like Lamar Jackson could probably stand out in this offense, and not necessarily in this offense, but a guy like that doesn't necessarily need the best offensive line.
I mean, a guy like that could probably stand out in 32 teams.
If you have an opportunity.
Agreed.
We can't.
Agreed. You don't get an MVP seat and then become shit overnight. It's
nothing. This ain't about Lamar's talent. I don't think he's nearly the passer that a lot of people think he is, but it's his legs that actually make him fucking as great as he is and most well-deserving of that MVP. And I'm not taking away from that. Please don't think that. But
no. If you don't want Lamar on this team, you're a Lamar hater. You're a hater of everything else.
I'd love to have Lamar on this team. But
God forbid you think logical, Jesse.
I'm just trying to speak logical in the position that this team is in right now.
Yeah.
No, Jesse. How dare you? How dare you? We've been chasing a quarterback for 30 years. When one becomes available, all of a sudden, with one game at looking at Looky-Loo, Sam Howell, that we're okay. We're okay with Sam Howell after one little measly game.
I'm not saying that.
No, I know.
Yeah, I know that, but that's the thing. But Mr. John Taman over there, he fucking flips back and forth. He thinks fucking he's going to be the second coming to Joe fucking Montana.
This guy likes one of my posts that's hating on Lamar Jackson. Then all of a sudden he's arguing with me in another tweet. And I'm like, what are you doing here, John? Do you agree with me? Why did you like my other tweet?
He's
apparently
fucking back and forth so much the past week.
I like him just to give you a little bit of encouragement there, little fella.
But listen, we would all love Lamar Jackson. Let's be real here. We would love him. If you put Lamar and Sam Hell in a box, which one would you fucking pick? Everybody would pick Lamar. Everybody
100% that we would.
But the fact of the matter is, it's not reality.
He's taller. He's got a lot more hair. Chances are, if I reach down in the box, he's who I'm hitting first anyway.
It's just not the reality of the situation when it comes to the Washington Commanders. It's just not.
What are you doing then in free agency with 16 million and potentially up to 30 million?
Yeah, I'm going to try to go get Eric Kendricks.
Okay.
That's
going to be expensive.
It is, but I think that would definitely shore up our linebacker and make that defense solid as fuck. And then go out and get yourself either right or left tackle. And then
why would we do that now, Jesse? And I'm not questioning you, but why would we make that move this year as opposed to making a similar move for that position last season?
The same place there was also available. Who I said on this podcast, let's go get that fucking Kendricks. Let's go get him.
Kendricks was he was going to re-sign with the Vikings anyways. I think last year because he only signed with that 1 year deal, I believe. Yeah, so because he just wasn't available, and there wasn't really many linebackers available last season, anyways. I mean, we did go through the list. There's only a couple, but most of them re-signed with their previous teams on 1 year contract. I think both Kendricks and Levante David did as well too. I think that's the best path for the team. Is spend that money and shoring up that fucking defense and then try to go get like was it McKinley?
McKinley,
yeah. I think you can probably get him as or a player like that at a decent price.
Who's the center that's just been released by the Titans? Do you know who that is?
Yeah, older guy. I forget his name, but he is definitely older. But he's made some Pro Bowls. He was injured last year, concussion. I think he missed 5 games. Yeah. But other than
that would be Dudu Magoo.
Well, he did make a Pro Bowl, but other than that, he's never missed a game in his entire career.
However, he's never missed a trip to the toilet either.
I agree with Scott when he says Edmonds over Hendricks. Edmonds is going to cost you a hell of a lot more money.
Massive money. I got some names here that I wrote down. So, I mean, for me, I've looked at the top 150 free agents, and we are not picking in any of them 50, that's for sure. We're kind of down that depth chart a little bit. Bobby Okereke from the Colts, linebacker, probably looking at about 4 to 6 mil a year. Foster Moreau at tight end, maybe, if you decide to cut Logan Thomas, because you can save some money there. He's going to be about 6
right there. I think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to cut. I think they're going to restructure Logan.
Isaac, one that Kyle from the Burgundy Zone's high on is Isaac Semelo from Philly, left guard. He got a 75.2 rating, and he was ranked the fifth highest left guard in the NFL last year. He's about $3 million a year. So there is players out there that you can drop in, but they're not going to be the sexy players. We're not going to have any of this massive free agency signings, the ones that are huge. McKinnon, running back out of Kansas City. Bieniemy knows him. He's going to cost you about $5 million.
Yeah, and right now that's probably a little bit too pricey. But again, we would all love Edmonds, man. I think he'd be great. He's just going to be. It's just too much. He's just going to want too much.
The thing too is, other than a couple of names like Jackson, they really haven't played too much on the first couple of days of free agency. They usually wait and they pull in guys like Thomas that are, later on, maybe even a couple of weeks later on. Ron likes to do his deals late at night. So we always find out about them in the morning. They're always kind of a surprise. But that's why I said a guard's not going to break the bank. We can go out and we can get quality guard, or at least upgradable guard, and not spend a whole lot of money. When you look at this team, in the draft, you can safely assume they're going to go offensive line or cornerback, tackle or cornerback in the first one. One of the two. And then
I'm trading back.
It's a good bet right there.
Flop. And they might go 2 offensive linemen right off the bat. So I think that they've got a plan on how to shore up the line without going. I mean, they might be able to pull in 3 whole new players this year to be able to put on that line and not spend a whole lot of money. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, you could. You know, there's definitely different ways to go about this. I think there's definitely some O linemen out in the free agency that you could definitely target, and there's some really good offensive line and cornerbacks in the draft early in the draft to go out and target. So there's definitely options there, and that's why my number one, pressing need, I think they should go for in as far as free agency is just go ahead and shore up that linebacker position with someone of some substance.
They ain't gonna do that.
I doubt they will.
Dude, the linebacker, they fucking put it way over there on their goddamn priority list. Keith, you haven't said anything for a while. I need proof of life.
I don't really care what they do.
All right. Well,
great show, guys. Great fucking show.
I'm telling you what, man, this dude is fucking rocking and rolling today.
I'll tell you. Hold on. I'll go out on the limb here.
Go ahead.
I would not be mad that if Bijan Robinson fell to 16, that we actually draft him and find a way to get Antonio Gibson elsewhere on this team. If we're talking out of the box thinking and drafting, I wouldn't hate that because Bijan Robinson, I think, is he's going to be a special running back for a team.
Look, having the Robinson Bashan twins back behind the quarterback, that would be great. But the fact of the matter is, no, they're not related. But that would be,
we could call him the Brom back for you. Brom back for you.
That with the amount of needs for in players that probably will be available at 16.
We're talking first round now.
Great, yeah, but drafting a running back in first round is like it just doesn't really happen much anymore. But he's so good, though. I mean, They
just re-signed Jonathan Williams.
I'd probably be pissed off that they didn't get a tackle or a cornerback at first, but I'd definitely come around to it. But I think. All this number is draft the best player available is it's just not. That's not what happens, man.
Who's
all boards are different, and that's why you go best player available at a position of need, and if it's not there on your board, then you fucking try to do everything you can to trade back.
Who's the big tackle right tackle out of Ohio State who's coming in for a visit? Is it Broderick Jones? Is that his name?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Hunter. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care about a luxury. I'm saying if he's available, you draft him. Oh, Scott, shut up. Shut up. I'm actually thinking about McDonald's after this. Yes, he is correct. Yes.
You're going to McDonald's.
Shut up, Scott.
Really?
And Hunter, I'm just kidding. I don't know who Hunter is. Do I know who Hunter is?
No, you don't, because you're never on this fucking show.
Oh, well, Hunter, shut up.
No, Hunter's always on the show. He's always in the chat.
Oh,
yeah. I'd like to.
Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Why don't you just invite Hunter to the show then?
Well,
I'd like to draft back.
Oh, we got Jeffy now. I think here, put Jeffy's comment up there. I think Gibby can succeed. Oh, shut up, Jeffy. Shut up. How about we draft Robinson or Bijan?
I agree with Jeffy, though.
Yeah. No, I don't care if you agree with Jeffy. Okay, Jeffy, I said think outside the box.
Sit the fuck down and shut up.
Shut up and sit down.
You shut up.
Just sit your ass down here.
I'm just glad you just didn't say tight end, because I would have had to fucking murder you then.
Yeah.
Jeffy,
you've had this discussion.
Hey, Jeffy.
Jeffy, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you listening. We're idiots.
I'm really excited to see what Gibson can bring to Bieniemy's offense, because I do like the fact that he can utilize so many different players, man. And
yeah, you can bring fumbles. Cool.
No. He didn't fumble once last year, did he?
Yes, he did.
He had one.
Yes, he had one.
All right, one is the fact of the matter is what we said last year, and when I say we, I mean me. Less is more for him, right? Bringing in Brian Robinson was terrific to be able to give him fewer touches but more effective touches, and I think he really gave us a good breath of fresh air through the third quarter in a lot of games. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see them move him around, do some different things with him, because as far as I'm concerned, we got a lot of gadget guys like that. And I don't know. Well, Scott Turner seemed to do just some funky shit that really didn't do a whole lot with him.
You know,
yeah, I don't disagree. They're a good combo. I like Antonio Gibson.
On your point, though, you know, there is a lot of traits with Gibson and goddamn fucking great content guys. What's our wide receiver we're talking about? Scott wanted to cut earlier.
Is John over there curling?
Curling?
Yeah,
Curtis Samuel. Yeah,
what are you doing over there?
I need to smoke some pot or something. You know, those guys are kind of similar, you know. And even before we got Curtis Samuel, I think I really wasn't for the move before we got him, because I thought Gibson and Samuel were kind of the same players. You could use Gibson in the same way. But, you know, if they did find a way to possibly move Gibson, I mean, now would be the time to do it, you know, to be able to get, because I think his contract's up after this year. Then, yeah, I could see them adding a running back in somewhere in the draft. I just don't think. But, yeah, Bijan Robinson would be fucking fantastic. He's best running back coming out in a long, long time. Yes. I just don't see it happening though.
I was just outside the box thinking.
What are you doing then at 16? Are you trying to trade back?
Listen, it all depends on their boards, man. It really does. Just like last year, you know, they had Dotson first on their board from where they were picking, but they had a feeling that they were going to be able to trade back anyways. And if your tackle or if your cornerback isn't there at 16, fucking trade back, get whatever you can.
I'd like to see them go. I'd like to see them go corner. We need a DB.
Yeah, I think after the combine, I think Gonzalez is well gone before 16.
I mean, there's a chance to get Porter.
Witherspoon might be about 16.
A possibility, you know, for those two players. But more likely than not, it's going to be a offensive lineman.
Well, I'll tell you something. One final time, for old time's sake, just to bust in that draft room and say, listen, you do what the fuck I say.
Watch him make him draft a kicker in the first round.
I will quit this team if that happens.
Good God, so would I.
The one that's out there, though, that everyone's talking about is Anthony Richardson. Obviously, the measurables, the combine was incredible.
Well, all right,
but
so is that the Panthers pick?
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Every fucking year this happens.
I know.
Man. Every year this happens. This shorts and underwear athletic marvel comes out, and everybody falls in love with them. Okay? The fact of the matter is, you got to watch the tape. You got to watch them actually play.
Listen, I stopped taking the combine seriously when the dude's dick fell out of his shorts.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you something right there. Look at that guy. I tell you, Tanya wanted to pick him.
I've got a problem with this.
Exactly.
Like, seriously. Not with Scott. I got a problem with Scott, but workout warrior will cause him to be gone. Yeah. Anyways, who cares, Scott? What I was saying,
Scott's sitting in a blizzard. He's got nothing to do with it.
The expert analysis I'm trying to give about the combine is, like, if your dong is that big, why are you wearing shorts that small? Like, how is it possible for a human being's dong to fall out of their shorts? So ever since that day, like when dude fell and his dong was out of his shorts, I was like, yeah, the combine's just not for me anymore.
Look, tell you what, when his dick
I
fell
measure
out of his
the
shorts,
combine.
all the sidelines went like this.
Right. Exactly. Well, I measure the combine by the measurement of another man's genitalia, and that man's apparently was way too large. He should not be in this league. Get him out.
He's just jealous as a motherfucker.
This is the American
that's what I was going to say. Ask Jesse about training camp when he saw Bigfoot.
Yeah. First of all, I was going to say, if anyone's jealous, it's you, Jesse.
Well, what was that wide receiver's name that we used to have here? Who had one that, I mean, I tell you what, they caught a hold of it on TV one time while he was on the sidelines. And
they called Andre Carter tripod.
What was his name? Where's Templar? Templar, dude, we used to have that shit on the fucking on the old show, and I had a cartoon with him in it. What the fuck was his name? He was a goddamn Redskins wide receiver. We had him for like maybe 2 years. He was a free agent.
The
Randall
fact
L?
that you even know that.
No, not Randall L.
No, it's probably back in the 1800s, Jeff.
No, it's not. It was. I don't know. It might have been right after Spurrier.
Jumpy. It was Jumpy.
Yeah, Jumpy Gathers.
I'll tell you what, though. If I remember his name, we will do a good old fashioned field trip, and I'll put a link in the chat, and everybody can go to YouTube and see what I'm talking about. Oh, what was his goddamn name?
But anyway, back to the
roll it
combine.
back in.
The
Yeah,
combine
roll it
does
back
have
in,
its purpose, and that's for teams to actually start interviewing and getting the these players in for one-on-one interviews, starting to get to know them a
That
little
would be
bit.
Lavernius Coles.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh
Coles.
yeah. It was.
It wasn't Coles.
That's right. But yeah. But these shorts, speedos, and t-shirt workouts, man, you can't put a whole bunch of stock in that stuff.
Especially with quarterbacks, dude. The quarterbacks are so overhyped every fucking year. They are so overhyped every year. Look, my man Ronnie. All right, the Uncle Ronnie. I'm gonna call you out, dude. He's talking today like that the Panthers did all of this because they're gonna go up and they're gonna get their guy because this is the guy that's how you get the franchise quarterback. I'm like, they got Sam Darnold on he was number 3 overall. They had Baker Mayfield on the roster. At the same time, he was number 1 overall. How are they not Super Bowl champions?
Hey, this is a really good topic because the guys in the comments, they want to know who had the dong. Like, who was it? It definitely wasn't James Thrash. He's of Caucasian.
It wasn't Cole. I mean, this is gonna. All right. So I'm gonna have.
I don't know if anyone knows the history of Caucasians, but we're not exactly blessed with well endowment.
Let's just
be honest here.
It's like a budgie's tongue, Keith. So yeah.
Right. Like I'm a grower, not a shower.
Receivers we have.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll figure it out. God damn it! All right, y'all talk amongst yourselves here. I'm gonna go find out.
All right, so look. Speaking of the offense,
I gotta end this for me soon, fellas.
Offensive tackles.
What are you hearing about it? Do you think she'll change teams?
Who? What?
Never mind.
Offensive tackles. There is quite a few on the free agent market that look intriguing. First and foremost, Orlando Brown, but
no chance.
Matter is he's just going to be a little bit too expensive. But Taylor Lewan, I mean, he just got released from. He's a little bit older, but you might be able to get him at a decent price from Tennessee. Mike McGlinchey, from the right tackle from San Fran. Spot Rack has his. Jesus, I didn't think it was going to be $14 million a year. But
Taylor, the one who punked Josh Norman.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But the one I was looking at was Caleb McGarry, the tackle out of Atlanta. He might be somebody interesting that they may, instead of going after a bigger name linebacker, if they want to go after tackle in free agency, and then leave the draft up to other spots like cornerback and maybe guard and stuff like that. Because there's tons of guards and some decent tackles you can get in the first few rounds.
Yeah, I think you go right tackle in the draft, and then you try and see what you got again with Leno. I mean, he's on contract. We're paying him. So.
I say let's restructure Leno.
Yeah, I hope so. He's like a turnstile. But anyway.
I also think that you don't let Rouillet go and you restructure him too. Rouillet is super important to this offense, man.
He was. And it seems like, I figured maybe he would have been cut by now.
People are down on him because of the health situation.
Yeah, and that's the thing. 2 years in a row, major injury, from what I heard through while he was injured, I think he thought he was going to go too, but things might be different now. Things change, people's minds change. But the fact of the matter is Rouillet is important to this team, but he can't stay healthy. And being that he can't stay healthy, his price tag's a little bit too much to keep.
Rouillet is important to quarterbacks who can't read defenses.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You can't, he's never on the field, so he's not important. All right, and the guys that are behind him can't stay healthy either. And the fact that
he's solid as all. If he could stay healthy, he'd be great.
Listen, that last injury to me was just a freak. That was a
they always freak. Are. Once your big man
that one was worse. So the second play before the game ends,
yeah, but it's a leg injury. Big men, once their legs start to have problems, they start to have problems. And it wasn't Chris Jones.
Well, I've talked to Chase Rouillet, and he says different, John. Quit being a pessimist, you asshole.
Well, I'm sorry. If he injured his asshole, I wouldn't think so much about it, but he didn't.
I'm just
he busted
kidding.
up his legs.
Chase Rouillet at all.
Did you pick up a center in the draft?
Like Chase Rouillet literally doesn't even know I exist, and I'm a part of the Hog Farmers who have done events with him.
Jeffy, that's what we were talking about. That guy from Mississippi State when his dong fell out on the combine, the 40-yard dash. That's why Keith doesn't watch the combine no more.
Yeah, I don't want like the combine to me is a joke. Like if your dong can fall out of your shorts, I just can't take it seriously. So Jeffy, I like you. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I think you pick up a right tackle in the draft. I think you kick Cosme inside to right guard. You pick up a left guard in free agency that's kind of an Isaiah Wynn, someone like that. Or
there's still Schweitzer to think about too. Popping him at left guard.
13 million is what Spot Rack's got his contract at.
Spot Rack is not always on point.
I know it's not right. I know that, but if the open market, that is what he's looking at. He will probably hometown deal look at around 8, which again is a lot of money to pay Wes Schweitzer.
What's he making now? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Jabbar Gaffney. That's who it is.
Oh, God.
Jabbar Gaffney. He's from
Florida. Gaffney. He was here for like a year.
And he's kind of short too, so he may be Tripod Junior.
Okay.
Well, I lived in Florida when he played for the Gators, and I never heard of this well endowment thing that you speak of. I think that you guys are psychotic, actually.
How did we get onto Cox? I mean,
John spends half the fucking half the podcast.
Scotty, how long have you been doing this podcast?
I know. It's just like
we really don't give any kind of good information at all, and here we are talking about dongs. It's just why we're the best podcast in Washington Commanders.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And look, I'll tell you what. I find it for our fans. Our fans would have had to know. And I'm telling you right now, Jabbar Gaffney probably had the biggest dick that ever walked into that fucking and they probably walked in.
I don't know, man.
He did.
Tamara Cameron-Wade may have a
well, you've seen that, Jesse. So
yeah. We know, Jesse.
that was winking at you and everything.
I want to go back to training camp and hope that we can catch something like that again. I'm telling you, the look on Jesse's face when he was like, "Oh my God, dude, I just saw something I shouldn't have seen." And I said, "What?" He goes, "This was the largest thing I've ever seen in my life." And I about
it was a definite Bigfoot sighting, wasn't it?
Oh, I'll relive this story even after we're long gone off the social apps and not doing these podcasts anymore. I'm going to tell my kids and grandkids about this story. Fantastic.
I found it. Oh boy, did I find it. Okay.
Well, hurry up because I got to go.
All right, I'm going to put this in the chat. So this is why all you people at home that are listening,
you can't load it on here.
Oh, I don't know if I can or not. Can I share screen here?
Yeah,
see if I can do that.
I mean, I really wish that all this time
this is where we get connected to an Indian call center now. Yeah.
Hello.
Your warranty is running out on your washing machine.
My name's John. How can I help you?
Not help you. All right. So sharing a screen is easiest with 2 monitors. Fuck off with that. All right. So now I guess you can see your screen. All right. Now can you see?
No.
You're failing.
Here it is.
No, Chris Cooley did a podcast.
Are we ready? You can see it now.
Yeah, here it is.
Watch. This is Jabbar Gaffney on the sidelines of Risky. Holy fucking shit! Good Lord!
Why that camera angle though? Why'd that camera have to go
He must have been
downward
staring
like
at the
that?
cheerleaders at that time.
All right, am I done presenting the screen? Am I done?
Yeah,
you're
done.
good.
Yeah.
You're good.
So yeah, when I tell you that a guy's got a big dick, trust me, I remember it from fucking.
We believe you, John. We believe you.
All right. Shit. Well then, I would think that brings along this. And we're on. Well, no, Chris Cooley, he made his own dick into a legend by taking a picture of it with a Playboy.
He was doing an interview or something. It was like kind of like a Zoom meeting, but in his camera, he wasn't wearing any pants, and he didn't have his camera situated properly.
Tell you what, Scotty.
Wasn't it he did have pants on, but his ball was hanging out or something?
Something like that, yeah.
It was what
he just
Scotty
didn't have
would call
underwear
the bell
on.
end.
Yeah.
His bell end was hanging out, was it? Yeah.
Right. It was looking like it was like right between his thighs as he was looking at the playbook.
Look at the playbook, yeah.
That's the magazine I didn't get to see. Hey,
I'm telling you, man, this team is just something else, bro.
It is, isn't it?
There's always fucking something.
Always something.
Well, this is the Deep in a Fun show. We are 21 seconds away from where we're supposed to shut it down. Don't be embarrassed. You were the one that said, let's do a show this week.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me on my fucking show.
I'm glad that you were here. You see how fun it is?
So we'll come back in a couple of weeks once free agency gets raring up and talk about all the players we did not sign.
Right. We'll be at least back before the draft, and if not, we'll be back right after the draft.
And chances are I probably won't be here, but if I am, I will have some expert analysis of absolutely nothing to give you.
That's right. And that'll be fun because that's how we roll. And Scott, you better pick up on your end because I am in touch with the French. So, no, sorry. It's late for Scott over in London. He's like, okay.
In London?
Sorry.
Nobody in London.
Well, I know, but I'm talking to a guy that's sitting out in a blizzard in North Dakota. What's he? All right. Okay. Over in Barrow and Furnace, it's late. Is it the same time in Barrow and Furnace as it is in London?
It's 11 o'clock, yeah.
Jesus Christ! It's not like I called you a different time zone. It's the same damn time.
And
no, but
also you can't trust the UK people anyways. They idolize a clock called Ben that's also shaped in the form of
Ben. You mean
Big Ben? I said Big Ben.
You said
Ben.
Well, fucking whatever. Big Ben. It's also in form of the shape of a penis, I believe, too.
It is, but it's actually the bell tower. The actual bell is called Big Ben, not the tower itself. But there you go.
The tower is just called the
Well, the American schools taught me differently, so you're wrong, Scott.
Oh, am I? Right, okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely wrong.
All right.
Well, this episode has been brought to you by Mark Hemingway's penis. We'll be back with you.
In association with Trojan. Other condoms are available. Yeah.
Big shout out to Jabbar Gaff.
Hey, peace out, guys. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
See you next time.